Friends, hello. Thank you so much for clicking on my second Whittle Baby channel here that I'm trying to get up and get started. I want to talk about two stocks that I've mentioned on the main channel before, but I don't keep up with them a lot on the main channel, and these are kind of secret stocks that I don't really tell people that I pay attention to. Maybe I'm involved, but we'll get into that. I want to talk about Applied Digital. And I want to talk about D-Wave, Quantum here. First, I want to go into Applied Digital here because my conversation is not going to be as long with Applied Digital, but I do want to talk about it nonetheless. So I found Applied Digital last year, and it was around, I think a $5-6 stock, and it was very interesting to me. I think I even made a swing trade at somewhere last year with this stock, but I've been watching it. Very much so. Now, obviously, what this I think it's safe to say software kind of tech company here situation. So very much in being viewed in the eyes with a lot of investors right now. I mean, I get comments every day. Why do you not talk about Applied Digital? Very much am watching it. Very much so. Have not. I will be honest with you 100%. Just to be transparent with you, I have not made a lifelong relationship with it where I have put an investment with it. I have not. But nonetheless, there's things I'm waiting on for it. So the situation on what I see with Applied Digital here, last year, a fantastic year with the stock, and that's why it caught my attention. This was a very cheap stock here not long ago, and they're making some bank. They're making some bank right now on the revenue. I mean, this is a company that makes a lot of money here. There are, your normal things going on in the company. It's not perfect, but nonetheless, it's doing well here, and it's growing phenomenally. And honestly, it's undervalued 100%. It just doesn't get the it has a cult following to it, but it doesn't get the structure of attention like it should. So too, with that, the last quarterly here with Applied Digital, it was a situation of it shocked a few people where it just kind of fell off a little bit, quite a bit. So now you've seen the stock kind of sell down here, especially since June. But it was running hot here. This was a hot stock here for a moment. Still very much is. So kind of when I look at Applied Digital right now, it's almost a situation of SoundHound. You have a situation of, 2024 was a hot year for, Applied Digital here. Let me break that up here. Like the middle of 2024, the beginning of 2025 here was a phenomenal how this company reports earnings here was a good year. There's a time span here where they came into a lot of contracts, a lot of things were happening. In SoundHound, why I'm kind of, mirroring that situation, 2024 was an amazing year for SoundHound. I mean, just, completely redirected the financial situation of the train of that, the motor, the heart of the money-making machine that it became here in 2024. Now, this year in 2025 with SoundHound, it has found itself still in this realm of a great piece of new ground with revenue coming in, but still falling short for Q1 of quarterly. So there's a lot of expectation and, pretty much, a lot of focus on what's going to be this next quarter with SoundHound. So I see a lot of that going on with Applied Digital, where people are like, I believe in it, I like it, but before I push more into it, I want to see more of what this next quarterly is going to look like. Because, too, there's things that have to happen before bigger money gets involved, before Wall Street really gets involved, for the zeitgeist and the hype to push into a stock, and there's a lot of things that have to happen. Okay, we look at Applied Digital and we go like, God, this company's making crazy money. They're actually doing fairly well, but they're just not getting a lot of attention, sadly. And there's a lot of stocks like this, and this is one reason why I really don't talk about it on the main channel, because it doesn't get the love it should. But still, there's very much a conversation that this company is in a whole new stream of revenue right now, but it still has a lot to prove to bigger money that it can continue this pace here. And I think there's an argument to say that it is definitely in a new stream of revenue, a good stream. So I'm watching Applied Digital. I'm very curious to see what they're going to finish out the year here with, what's going to be next with it. But nonetheless, I would keep my eye on it 100%. I don't think it's a bad situation at all. It's not something that I have pulled the trigger on. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. There's other plays that I have made that I have money wrapped up in, but I am nonetheless watching it, and I love hearing people talk about it that love it and are for it. When people bring it up. So, yeah. I'll keep talking about it if people want to hear about it, but I'm definitely watching it. Now, D-Wave. Now, D-Wave is, I have talked about D-Wave on main channel before quite a bit. I will probably talk about it more here eventually on the main channel here, but it is a stock that I have kind of secretly been obsessed with. It's a situation of, listen, this quantum computing conversation here is something that I have kind of been obsessed with, and I don't talk about it a lot, but it is something that I'm trying to do as much research as I can on, that I can even understand. I am a moron, so quantum computing in me, I go like, what? But essentially, it is the future of what computers, everything, internet can be here. Now, with that, quantum computing, I'm going to tell you why there's a picture of Charles here, the creator of Cardano. I will explain why. He has nothing to do with this company, but I will explain why I have him. Right now, the quarterlies, the revenue stream with D-Wave here, obviously Q1 25, whoa. This is why the stock went. But two, and we've got, Q2 coming up here in August, along with a lot of other companies. But I almost look at D-Wave here, quantum computing in a bubble here, a sense that its time has not come yet in the market. Does that make sense? Where, I remember there was a time in the market where, we were starting to get more of this taste of like the EV industry that was going on. And, people are like, man, this EV thing's really taking off. You got to be a part of this. And then, there came a moment where EV stocks just blew up. I mean, people were buying EV stocks that for companies that were in debt. They weren't making revenue. Where the companies were literally releasing articles like, listen, we need money, we're going in debt. But people were believing in them very much. Now, obviously, the EV market has completely been, cut through with a hot knife like butter. But the situation, there was a moment in time for that in the market where it was a feeding frenzy. Now, obviously, there's been some commotion with quantum computing stocks here for a moment in the market here the last 6 months. But two, I think this last year in the market was chip stocks. Chip stocks took all the attention. This year, you're seeing a lot more software / security stocks are very much looked over right now because they have a lot to do with defense, what could happen here. But two, like I said, I think it is very important to take a look at these quantum computing companies, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna be a part of. Very much so. And this company is headquartered in Palo Alto, California, so it's in the heart of all the tech stuff right now. Let me explain why I have Charles here. I know people are like, why do you have Charles a part of this? So listen, Charles was on the Sean Ryan podcast here like last week. It's a fresh interview. By the way, if you have any interest in crypto, learning about crypto, I could not suggest anything in the past 10 years that has been said, explained about crypto better than what that podcast was. Charles explained so many key points of what crypto is in that. But two, he talks about quantum computing in that. And, he makes a lot of solid points where he looks at it and goes like, it's something that that the government is paying attention to, where investors are looking at it and they're trying to figure out which companies are going to make that. And two, he says this too, because this is kind of his lane in this world. He sees, him as a business owner and all this, explaining that there's a lot of fighting going on right now with these quantum computing companies, but two, where you're going to see a lot of companies, the bigger ones, buy out the other ones. And, and more than likely, the ones in the United States that are based here will do the best, probably because there's going to be a time and moment where the United States government goes, we need to start focusing on this now. But we've seen that too, like why I said chip stocks last year. The chip situation, because NVIDIA did what they did last year, it brought up this whole conversation. Where are chips made? They're not even made here. Oh, you mean they're made on the other side of the world on a little island that's unsafe for us to maybe get to if we need more chips? Oh, now we're talking, okay, well, we need to make chips here. Okay, this year, well, now we're talking about software. Software is a huge thing. Palantir, a lot of these other companies. Okay, so this is why I do say D-Wave, I can't say it's not making money. They've done pretty good here. It is a situation of where, for me, when I look at quantum computing stocks or companies in general, when I look at the little tidbit of information I can even understand and process, I look at this one because, one, as an investor, they're bringing in money. They're bringing in a lot of money here. Now, obviously, it's not a perfect company. There's problems. It's a newer company. There's things that they're addressing here. But two, I think that investors have not even had their moment in time with this quantum computing thing. And Charles says this too in this podcast I don't know if I said this. He did an interview on the Sean Ryan podcast. It was the Sean Ryan podcast. So it's like 5 hours, I know, but it is full of gold nuggets. If you are an investor in the stock market or crypto market, it will be a great thing for you, I promise. But two, I don't even know that we haven't found this time and place in the market yet where people are obsessed with quantum computing stocks. Okay. So I look at D-Wave and I go, it may be worth the risk just to buy this stuff up and sit on it for a while. If they continue with these quarterlies, this is going to be good not only for investors, but for them as a company to really get a cash flow going to where they can become a stronger company. It's unbelievable what's kind of happening here, and it's still very much under the radar. A lot of general investors, they're not paying attention to these quantum computing stocks. They're just not doing it. It's not a hot topic at the moment. So, friends, that is kind of my theory, my thought of what's going on here. Listen, I realize this wasn't even like a video talking about, looking at candlestick charts and stuff like that. I think there's a lot more going on when we talk about the long term for you as an investor. What's going on here with these two companies? Okay. And I guess I should have clarified that in the beginning. I'm sorry for people that were wanting me to break down a candlestick chart or something like that. It's not really what I'm looking at right now with these two stocks. I'm looking at what is the future. If I put X amount of money in either of these stocks right now, what does my return look like in 5 years? Is D-Wave going to become this revolutionary company that's very much in this push of quantum computing and maybe in the next 2, 5, 10 years? I don't know. Applied Digital, where is Applied Digital going to be in 5 years? Is this going to be a huge push in the market here sooner than we think? And Applied Digital already has a strong foot in that business. Friends, listen, I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for clicking on this small little bitty channel. If you subscribed, I can't thank you enough. I'm excited to get it going. And friends, I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.